time for healing meditation. Oh, that important time during our service when we just get still. We don't get still very often, generally, in our lives, except if we deliberately make time for that. But right now, we deliberately make time for that. We close our eyes, go within, and just pull our shoulders down as far as we can. Pull them all the way down. And hold them there for a few moments. And let go. This helps us to release the tension in our bodies. So that in that state of relaxation, that was greater than it was a few minutes ago, we can quiet the mind and turn not just within, but without. All the way across this country, all the way around the world, all the way throughout our planetary system. We can extend our imagination to the center of our galaxy and beyond, to infinite numbers of galaxies, and know the truth. Know the truth that all are God-based. That infinite energy brings forth marvels, wonders. Because we are so small, it looks so large. But to God, who is everywhere and in everything and has everything, it is here, it is now, and it is full of love. Oh, to remember that all the time. To live with that thought, God's love here and now, all the time, is to live free. Free of so much of the weight of the world, the weight of humankind, the weight of daily events, the weight of our own fears, the weight of those things that we think might be possible, both good and bad. Shall we, in the next 90 seconds, drop the weight? Just be still. And let the weight of our thoughts ebb away. And enjoy the silence, the peace, the presence of God within and without. As it says in the prayer, and in the end, here am I, Lord. Here am I, Lord. Speak. Shall we begin saying those words to ourselves and invite the good, invite the presence, invite the inspiration, Come unto me, all ye who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. For we have rested in those loving arms. We have put aside our burdens and given them to God. We have rest assured that there are answers, there are solutions. There is a creative, intelligent presence who stands always with us to help. Those heavy burdens can be put aside. We can rest comfortably in that wondrous presence, marveling at how it helps us feel whole, healed, calm, blessed. For that knowledge, not just now, not just today, but every day of our lives. Wholeness, ease, quiet, love. Amen. Shall we say the Nora translation of the Lord's Prayer? This is the translation from Northern Aramaic, which was the language of Jesus. Together, Our Father who is everywhere, your name is sacred, your kingdom is come, your will is throughout the earth, even as it is throughout the universe. You give us our needful bread from day to day, and you forgive us our offenses, even as we forgive our offenders. And you let us not enter into materialism, but you separate us from error, because yours are the kingdom, the power, and the song and praise from all ages, throughout all ages, sealed in faith, trust, and truth. Amen. Well, today I'm going to be talking about fearful or fearless. Is there any person on earth who hasn't experienced fear? There are lots of people who have had their whole lives molded and structured by their fears. They've lived in prison by very real fears their whole lives. Now, some of these fears are imaginary, and some are a 1 in a million possibility. Some are a real possibility, and maybe very few, are a real probability. And some fears become a reality just because we put so much mental energy and time on them. Like attracts like. That's the rule, that's the law. Janez Rus was so afraid of punishment for his wartime support of the Nazis that he hid in his home for 32 years. Rus said he used to cry when he heard happy voices outside, but he dared not show himself. He didn't even go to his mother's funeral. Rus was a young shoemaker when he went into hiding at the end of the Second World War in 1945. He went into hiding in his sister's farmhouse in June 1945. His presence was discovered 32 years later. If I hadn't been discovered, he said, I would have remained in hiding for the rest of my life. I'm so happy that happened, he said to a reporter. Through all those years, Rus never left the house, never. He could only look down at the village in the valley because he was a victim of his fears. Ann Landers, everybody knows that name. Ann Landers, the advice columnist, received over 10,000 letters a day, believe it or not, before her death in 2002. When she was asked what was the most common problem that people wrote her about, and without any hesitation, she said, fear. Fear, that's how common it is. Dennis Hastert. He was at that time the longest serving Speaker of the House of Representatives. He was the Speaker for 8 years. I don't know if anybody's exceeded that since then, but he was at the time, 8 years. He was elected to the speakership, among other reasons, because he didn't have any skeletons in his closet. Later, quite a bit later, he was indicted for having paid something like $1.7 million of hush money to the alleged victims of his sexual misconduct when he was a high school teacher and a wrestling coach. Talk about fear. Hastert must have lived in constant fear that people were going to discover the skeletons in his closet. Who among us wouldn't be scared blue if we faced a federal indictment, possible jail time, having to spend an enormous amount of money on lawyers, and in addition to that, even worse, humiliation, loss of reputation, loss of all the perks that fame and political power had brought him for so many years. He lost it all. He was afraid of that. And lo and behold, experts have come up with a really long list of things that people are afraid of. On some lists, the greatest fear is public speaking. On other lists, it's flying, followed by heights, snakes, going to the dentist, spiders and other bugs, insects, change, enclosed spaces, mice, the dark, death, failure, rejection, thunder and lightning, embarrassment, dogs, and on and on and on and on it goes. Now, do any of those speak to you? That's the question. Most of us have something that really bothers us. But for me, it's heights. It's getting close to the edge, where there isn't anything beyond the edge except ground. I don't like heights. The worst thing about fear, though, is that fear is the cause of so many bad decisions. so much limitation. Fear of what our friends are going to think. They are being different. Oh my, being different. Fear of ridicule, fear of criticism, fear of failure, fear of lack. That's a big one. Fear of change, fear of being hurt, and on and on and on and on. Fears like that can cause colossal mistakes in our lives, even at best. Those strong fears can cheat us of so much joy in living, so much of the beauty in life. But if you look at that fear through spiritual eyes, it might be of the greatest spiritual opportunity for you. If just about everyone, or since everyone, has that sense of fear, maybe that challenging that fear might be a spiritual lesson that everybody has and needs to work on. Facing a fear is the way we discover how much inner strength we have. And we have so much more, far more than we think. Comforting something that disquiets us begins to demonstrate that we really do have courage. We don't perhaps think we do, but we do, far more than we ever suspected we had. Especially if we dare to move past our comfort zone. If we get into a place that we don't like real well. And how do we do this? Our faith in God. In His omnipresence, in His help, which is omnipresent. And in our inherent belief that there is that spiritual power within our own soul that will help us. That will help us. Jesus Himself said, of myself I can do nothing. He couldn't do it. The Father within did it, did the works. Fear will be something that ceases to stop us or slow us down or prompt us to make mistakes, because we make mistakes when we're fearful. Instead, a momentary fear might even trigger exactly the opposite reaction in us. It'll generate an immediate inner resolution to meet that fear and overcome it right now. There is nothing new. It is nothing new. Humans have been experiencing it since the dawn of time, including the dawn of biblical time. If you look up the word fear, you'll find that word, sometimes many times, in almost every of the 77 books of the Bible. If you look up fear not, you'll find that phrase too in almost every book of the Bible. Who says fear not? Who is saying so many times in the Bible, fear not? God. God Himself. Now, angels also appear and say the same thing. In the book of Genesis, Abraham has a vision where the Lord says to him, I am thy shield and thy exceeding great reward. Now, what was he asking Abraham to do? He was asking Abraham to leave home, to leave friends, to leave so many personal belongings, to leave his whole life experience behind it, and start out, move, create another reality, another place for himself and his extended family. He was saying those things, I am thy shield and thy exceeding great reward, because he didn't want Abraham to fear. Now, he wasn't the only one. God assured Jacob, Isaac, Joseph, Moses, and Joshua that they should fear not, because he was with him. Same words were repeated to the prophets and kings like Samuel, David, Elijah, Daniel, Ezekiel. And they in turn assured the Hebrew people that there was nothing to fear because the Lord was with them. And they clung to that word, that promise of protection, direction. The powerful commandment to fear not is found throughout the Old Testament. God's presence, God's help is absolutely assured time after time. Now, in the New Testament, the angel Gabriel gives exactly the same message to Zacharias, to Mary, to the shepherds, to Joseph. And exactly the same words, come out of Jesus' mouth. Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. That's in Luke. And it didn't stop with Jesus. Same words came out of Paul. He said in his second letter to Timothy, and this is the Lanza translation, for God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of good discipline. Good discipline. Other translations say a sound mind. Well, that's okay, but good discipline makes so much more sense. Good discipline. Oh, if we all had good discipline. I know if you ever looked at my desk, you would know that I did not have good discipline. I don't know about you. But to have that, to be assured that we have that somewhere within us. Oh, we can take a deep breath. Yeah, I can improve on this. I've got it within me. It's a very important clue in helping us overcome fear. But I'm going to be talking a little more about this. How? How do we rid ourselves of fears? Especially a fear that regularly impacts us. Some we don't see very often, don't have to face very often, but what if it is in our faces? Just that negativity, ongoing. Well, first of all, we identify it. We don't let it just lurk in the back of our minds. Write it down. Write it down. And then ask yourself, how did I get this? Maybe it was a bad childhood experience, or maybe it started so early that I can't even remember when I first started feeling this way. What triggers it? Does it affect my behavior? Does it affect my decisions? Does it have impact on me on an ongoing basis? Is it limiting my life? What is my gut reaction to it? These are the things to write down because they are such an important thing to know. The more that fear affects us, the more critical it is to reduce it or eliminate it. And the best way to start getting rid of it is to start writing it down. Examine it. You might consider saying to yourself, what's the worst thing that could happen? What is the very worst thing? If you realize that the worst thing is really not going to do that much damage to you, and you came out and did it anyway, imagine how proud you would feel, how strengthened you would feel by challenging that failure. Sometimes directly confronting a person or a situation, even measured way totally vanquishes your fear. And if and when there are setbacks in there, and no doubt will be, stand firmly determined to keep on keeping on, to persevere. We don't want ever to be controlled by something other than the highest within us and the presence of God. But certainly the most powerful way to overcome it, of fear, is to approach it with a totally different mindset. Think about it differently. Paul's words in Romans, they go, you were not meant to relapse into the old slavish attitude of fear. You have been adopted into the very family circle of God, and you can say with a full heart, Abba, Father, my Father. The Spirit Himself endorses our inward conviction that we really are the children of God. Think what that means. If we are His children, then we are God's heirs. And all that Christ inherits will belong to all of us as well. This is a Phillips translation of God. It moves along beautifully, doesn't it? So Paul is emphasizing the basic divine nature that is ours, every one of us. We're part of God's family. And everything that Jesus Christ received from God, we did too. As a little boy said, God made me and God doesn't make junk. Our basic spiritual nature abounds with power and grace and wisdom because God's nature is power and grace and wisdom. Our basic spiritual nature is fearlessness. Can you adopt that? Can you insert that in your thinking? I am fearless. We have to release any self-limiting, self-created human fears. When we affirm really vigorously to ourselves, within ourselves, the truth of our spiritual nature, we buy into that because that is truth. The image of God is our spiritual nature. We then are absolutely certain that we can overcome any and every limiting fear. A couple of weeks ago, I asked you to take part in an experiment with me. And that was to ask yourself as often as you could, am I happy? Am I happy? When we do this, what we do is we wake up from the automatic, unconscious responses that we are all want to do. Just living life through automatic actions and thoughts sometimes. When we do this, we wake up. And that is the injunction, that is the suggestion, that is the rule from great teachers. Wake up. To me, doing that was like being in a dim room and having someone turn a bright light on. It was beautiful. I discovered so many routine things that I could be grateful for. Simple things. And it was so, I tasted life anew. It's been a wonderful practice. Sometimes I wasn't happy. Okay, yeah. But that's okay. It's okay. How can you change things for the better if you don't clearly register that you are not happy in this? It gives you the impetus to start changing some things. doing things differently. Now, are there any courageous people in the room who tried this out, this experiment, and would like to thank you, would like to share? Yeah.
When I wasn't happy, and I asked myself if I was happy, I decided that I was happy. Which is kind of like what you were just talking about. And when I was happy, and I asked myself if I was happy, I found that I was also very grateful. And that thing came to mind.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Anybody else? Anybody feels courageous enough to speak up?
I found that material possessions don't make you happy, but the people around you make you happy.
Exactly. Exactly. Even if it's a shiny new car,
It doesn't make you happy.
no, for a little while there's excitement. Not for any long period of time. You're absolutely right. Thank you. Thank you, Pam. Anybody else? Okay, we've got a couple of courageous people in the room. Now, I do have some more blue dots for anybody who would like them. And I also, I have, and the blue dots were to help you remember to ask yourself this question. And I also have a list of the questions that you can ask yourself in order to identify and then begin to release your fears. God did not give us a spirit of fear, but of power and love, and as Dr. Ramza says, of good discipline. Good, I'll take that any day of the week. We can use that good mental discipline to ask ourselves, am I happy? Am I happy? And asking yourself that can reveal hidden joys, hidden goodness in your life that you haven't seen before. And also asking, what do I fear, can turn into a spiritual opportunity. They're very important questions. Happy or unhappy? Fearful or fearless? You are the individualized expression of God, and the power to be happy and fearless is already yours. Shall we go with it? It's already yours. Oh, the qualities we see in other people, the strengths they seem to have, the pleasure they seem to have from life. All those are your inner assets as well, because you were made in the image and likeness of God. You are his child. You are God's beloved. You are your own best friend when you realize this. You are blessed. The more you believe that, the more you act on it, the more you announce it and re-announce it to yourself. Thank you, beloved. Thank you, Abba. Thank you. Let it be so. Amen.
I'm just gonna go all acoustic. This is by special
request from a dear friend in the room, and you know the song. So in honor of the coming Independence Day holiday and celebrating unity in our country and diversity and equity and inclusion and all of those things. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Islands, in the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me. As I was walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that endless skyway, and I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. Everyone. This land is your land. This land is my land. California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me. As I was walking, I saw a sign there, and on that sign it said, no trespassing. But on the other side, it didn't say nothing. That side was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Islands, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me. In the square of the city, in the shadow of the steeple, by the relief office, I see my people, and listened to their hungry. I stood there asking, is this land really made for you and me? This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me. This land's for the Christians. This land's for the Muslims, for the Jews and the atheists, 'cause we're all cousins. My God loves everyone, even if you're doesn't. This land was made for all of us. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me. Oh, this land was made for you and me.
I'm going to, excuse me, say the blessing of the gifts right now. We are receiving so many gifts on an ongoing basis. But there needs to be that reciprocity. We need to give if we want to receive. We give of our time, our talent, our treasure. We give of our love. We give of our energy. We give in, so many different ways. And we receive abundantly from God. Shall we say this blessing of gifts together? Today I acknowledge God, omnipresent, as the source of all good, as the source of my good. With this acknowledgement, I accept God's will, which is abundance in every aspect of my life. I release all thoughts of lack and limitation, and I am open and receptive to the increased flow of abundance to me right now. I joyfully accept the gifts of life and give freely of the special gift that I am. Through me, God omnipresent blesses and multiplies this gift for all. Thank you, dear God.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you, Joy. Thank you for the beautiful song at the end. Both of them are beautiful, but I always like Joy's version of This Land, and it is our land, so thank you very much. And I will pay you extra. I think it much. It's a little joke between Joy and I, but thank you so much. It was just, I always just really like that song when she sings it. The flowers today are sponsored by Jenny, and she's not here today, so I guess I'll call her and see what she wants to do with them. So we appreciate her doing that. We do have some extra spaces on the calendar, flower calendar, the birthday cake calendar, and the snack calendar. So if anybody would sign up for one or all of those, we would appreciate it. So please feel free to spend your money and do that. So as Maurita had asked us a few weeks ago, I did check on the CPR class. The guy that usually teaches CPR for different people around town, he has said he will teach a class $45 a piece, but he has to have a minimum of 6 people. So if anybody's interested in signing up for a CPR class, let me know so I can get back to Tom and we can set up a date on that. Other than that, meditation classes tomorrow night and happy social hours on Wednesday night. And I can't think of anything else that we've got going on right now. So we'll, coming up July, I'm sure we'll have lots more coming. But anyhow, but
Date or for the CPR class or
no, I'm waiting to see when, if we can get people.
maybe a sign-up sheet?
Yeah, we can, and then I'll get back with him and see what his availability is. And I don't know if he'll do it in the evenings or if he'll do it on weekends. I know most of the time he teaches during the day downstairs, but a lot of us work, so I'll have to get with him as soon as I find out how many people, but we'll do a sign-up sheet. So we'll take it from there. Okay? Did you have anything else?
Wednesday night, reading.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. That's like, that, both Wednesday night things are like a given, but anyhow, yes, Wednesday night discussion, guys.
So we're going to have a closing prayer. And who is the prayer for? It is for the whole family of humankind. Everybody needs it. We need it. And the world needs it. So shall we get still? And again, imagine the world, the beautiful globe that we live on. Imagine it as you were looking at it from space. Blue and white, surrounded by the blackness of space. And all the people on it, all the animals and the vegetation, the insect life, the seas and everything in the seas, all of it, we hold in awe because it is God's creation. And with our thoughts, with our love, with our positive intentions. We hold it precious in the light of God. We hold that all humankind have sufficient food and water, have sufficient homes, places to live, medical care. In other words, for the whole family of humankind, good, balance, and love for one another. May we have a few moments of silence holding this idea, which is a blessing to everyone on this planet, starting right now. And we say with all our hearts, thank you, dear God. Amen. And now, shall we have our final hymn? Thank you so much for being with us today.